Hi everybody, welcome back. I am so sorry that I have been missing in action again. It's been quite busy here. We've got a huge quilt show coming up in our area May 1st. So I have been very busy getting quilts ready for the upcoming quilt show. But I have been sewing, and I did get a chance to do a little bit of shopping, and I wanted to show you some of the things that I picked up because a couple of them I think are really, really neat. So the first thing that I wanted to show you that I got on my little shopping trip were these ground nut shells. They're walnut shells and they're ground, and they are great because not only do they smell great in your pin cushion, but they also, walnut shells keep your pins so that they don't rust and they stay sharp. So those are one of my faves. And then I wanted to show you what it is that I made with it. I'll take a close-up shot of it also and put it on my website so that you can see it. But this is just the cutest little pin cushion. I thought it was adorable. So I thought that would look really cute next to my sewing machine. So I made this up. In fact, I made it last night. It took me maybe 2.5, 3 hours to make it. So I thought that was really cute. It was a free pattern that I found online, and I'll stick a link to it below so that you can go get the pattern yourself. So that was my little crafting stuff that I did. The other thing that I found were these really nice, they're actually ramekins. And what I intend to do with these is make some pin cushions out of them. I picked up 3 of them, and we'll use them as Christmas presents. And I know the last thing that we want to be thinking about right now is Christmas. But if you're going to be making stuff for Christmas, it is nice to start thinking about it now, because you can get your ideas together, get things done, and anything that I make for Christmas, I like to have done by the 1st of October so that I then can concentrate on, Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas itself. So I picked these up. The other thing that I picked up was Kate Spain's new line. I got a layer cake of it, and it is beyond gorgeous. Really nice, bright, I don't know if you can see them or not, bright, springy colors. I'll put a close-up shot of some of these for you too. What I'm going to be making with this is a project of a quilt that's going to be set on point. I'm going to be doing it out of 5-inch squares, so grab a layer cake or grab a couple of the pre-cuts that are 5-inch squares. I can't remember the name of them right now, but grab a hold of either one of those if you want to do the project with me, and I'll be starting that maybe next week. Oh, that's my target. Some yardage of one of the coordinating fabrics. So I think I've got 4 yards here, but I just really thought it was pretty. And I'm going to use this for borders, I think. So that's what I picked up for yardage. And I also picked up what's called a custom sealing iron. And this is one of those little irons that people lots of time use when they go on retreat weekends. It's one of those. But I really, really like this brand. I have tested it out before. Somebody had one that I knew, and I just loved it. So it's a great product, good iron. So if you do lots of weekend retreats, that type of thing, you might want to grab one of these for your pressing. And then my ultimate purchase is, and I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the bag so that there isn't a reflection for you. It's called the Steady Betty, and it is just one of the neatest sewing tools or ironing tools around that you can get. I picked up the 12 by 12, and it has a nice, pretty little border on it. And I'm going to see what I can do about showing you how it works. What happens is you put your piece of material down on it, and the material does not move at all. It stays right there. So I'm going to show you by folding this down, and then I've got my little iron plugged in, and I'm going to press it. And your material just doesn't move. It keeps it right there nice and steady. Steady, Betty. Keeps it right there for you. And if you need to press up like this to put something in place, again, it doesn't move. It just stays right there. So it's a great little tool. Absolutely love it in the sewing room, especially when you're doing really, really tiny pieces. It's great because once you put your piece of fabric on there, it really stays right there. So I wanted to share that with you. So that's the end of my purchases. And then I also got a chance to do some sewing. So I made these cute little bags for putting things in and traveling with them. More than likely what I'll end up doing with this size one is probably pens and pencils in my purse or spare things to store in the car. And then I made another one, and this one's quite a bit larger. And it's got a nice rounded zipper on it so that you can get right into it. And I managed to do binding over my raw seams so I don't have any raw seams on the inside. And I did quilt it on the long arm. Hopefully you can see the quilting stitches. It's a really neat feather pattern that I love that I did. This one, I'm actually going to be using this for all of my cords, for my computers and my iPod and my iPad and my iPhone and all that stuff when I travel, because I do seem to be doing a lot of traveling lately. So that's another one of the little things that I made recently. Other than that, I haven't had a chance to do a lot of sewing, other than work on the long arm. As I said, we've got a great big huge quilt show coming up in the 1st of May. So I've been really busy trying to get custom quilts done and back to the owners so that they can have them ready for the quilt show that's coming up. So now on to our little project for today. So this is what we're going to make today. And what it is it's a bed pillow wedge. You can see the wedge. And how I made it was there's a pillowcase on the inside and it's all stuffed. I used a bunch of scrap batting from my quilts, so I didn't have to go out and buy anything. The fabric that I used for it was all scraps that I grabbed from my stash, and I'm certain that you've got a bunch of scraps in your stash that you could use to make it too. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to first make the case to hold the batting, and then I'm going to show you how to make the cover. So here we go. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is, the first thing that we're going to do is make our pillow case. And this is what's holding all of my batting in there. It is completely sewn up, so there's no zippers in it or anything. I figure as long as I take my cover off and wash it, I'm content. So this is the first part about it, and this is how we're going to go about making the case. So to make the case, what you're going to need, and I have a little cheat sheet with all my dimensions on it, is you're going to need one rectangular piece of muslin. And again, I'm using real premium grade 200 count muslin. It's what I always use. It's what I like. And so that's what I'm using. This piece is going to measure a rectangle of 20 inches long, and it is 9 inches deep. So you're going to cut a 20 by 9 rectangle. You are only one of those. You need to cut two 20 and a half by 16 rectangles. And then this next piece is what is a little bit tricky. You're going to need this real elongated triangle, and this is 8 3/4 this way, and you're going to really want to try to get this piece on your straight of grain. this side of the triangle is 16 inches long. Your little point is a 1/2 inch. So that's the measurement of it. And just remember that it's not going to come to a point. It's not going to cross over. You are going to have a little cutoff. So it's 16 by 8 3/4 by a 1/2. So that's your side pieces. So your first step in it is to take your biggest piece, which is your large rectangles, and sew your triangles onto each end. And what you're going to want to make sure you do when you sew them on is make sure that your triangles are going in the same direction. So you can see they both, the base of the triangle is on the same, going in the same direction on both sides. So once you've done that, fold up my piece, then you're going to take and you're going to take your other large rectangle and you're going to attach it to the other side of the triangle. So you now have this open pocket type thing. Okay, and you can see what I've done is I've serged it. I just sat down at the serger. If you don't have a serger, I would definitely zigzag it. And the reason why I say I would zigzag it is because you're going to be stuffing this. So you really want it good and tight seams, tight stitches. And the first time I did it, I did just a basic straight stitch. And I actually did end up ripping some of my stitches out when I was stuffing the pillow. So either a zigzag or serge it, one or the other. So now at this stage, you've got 4 pieces sewn together. Your next step is going to be, you are going to take and sew the bottom. You can see the bottom rectangles right here. The bottom rectangle, which is 20 by 9. And I have sewn it on 3 sides. So I've got this nice, great big huge opening to stuff it full of batting. So once you've got your pillow form, the base sewn on 3 sides of it, what you're going to do now is take all of that scrap batting that your long armer sends back after they've long armed your quilt, and you're just going to stuff it into your pillow form. And what I did when I got all done stuffing mine was, don't know that you're going to be able to see it, but what I did was I just hand stitched all the way across the bottom of it. I did a really tight hand stitch, but I just did a really tight whip stitch all the way across the bottom. So now I've got my form and I'm ready to make my cover. So here's my pillow form, and the next step is we're going to make our cover. So here we go. When I went to make the cover, I did change the sizes up just a little bit. What I did was I changed the base, the bottom piece, which is, I'll show you. For me, it's this piece. You can see I've already got my zipper in it. I changed it to be 20 inches long by 9.5 inches deep. And so the reason why I made my base 9.5 inches by 20 inches is because I wanted to put a zipper in it so that I could take the cover on and off and wash it on when I needed to. So you can see I've got my zipper in mine, and again the size of mine was 9.5 by 20. If you don't want to put a zipper in yours and you're okay with just hand stitching it closed, then you don't need to worry about increasing the size of the base. So you can see here, I've started with my large front piece and I've got 2 sides just pinned on, and I'm going to sew those down. So I've got my first 2 sides sewn, and now I'm going to just add my other large piece onto these, And again, I'm just going to sew on this one. I'll actually sew up one side, across the other, and then back down again. And I'll be back once I get that done. So I wanted to show you what I've done. You can see I've got a big tube. But what I have done is I have sewn the two ends, and I know because it's dark fabric, it's hard to see it. There's the base of one side of the triangle, and there's the base of the other side. And now, by doing it that way, I can actually take this whole piece and I can just sew it right across the top, a nice straight seam. So now I'm going to sew it across the top. Once I've sewn it across the top, then I'm ready to start putting my bottom on. So I'll be right back. I wanted to show you across the top of it. I did sew it with on the serger just a little bit on the side. Okay, so what I've done now is I have sewn all of my sides together and my top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my bottom. And you can see I've already put my zipper in. And just follow your zipper's instructions to input it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach it to the bottom of my pillowcase. And I'll be back once it's all sewn and show you how nice it fits on the pillow form. So I'll be right back. All right, I've got my pillowcase sewn, and you can see that there is a zipper in it. So now what I'm going to do is just stick it on my pillow wedge. And my bed pillow, it's a little tough to stuff it in, but you want it to be tight so that when you sit in bed at night and read, or you're on the internet, on your iPad, or whatever it is that you're doing, it's nice and tight so that you've got that back support that you want. So I'm just going to tuck my corners in where they belong. It's on, it's in, and now I can just zip it up. And now I've got a great bed pillow. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. And the instructions and all the measurements will be at the bottom. And if you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to like them and subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you like it. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.